Our starting point tonight is with Sudan. The Sudanese army says it will continue its push to retake cities and towns that are still held by the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces group. This comes as civilians and soldiers celebrated after the army recaptured the city of Wad Madani. It's the capital of Al-Jazira state. Now, Wad Madani had been under the control of the RSF and it was seen as a center for its regional operations. The army has asked civilians to return to the town as it fights to also dislodge the RSF paramilitary group from other strategic locations in the country. Caroline B starts us off at this hour.
On the streets, people cheered. The Sudanese army had entered the city of Wad Madani, a key town in Al-Jazira state, after dislodging RSF fighters. Wad Madani had been under the control of the Rapid Support Forces since late 2023. Citizens who appeared in the celebratory footage shared by the army said the recapture of the town was a big relief.
Those people exhausted us in Madani. They looted our belongings and warehouses. They broke into our houses, and in case they found nothing, they beat people. As women, we were the ones going out in search of food and drinks, leaving our sons at home. The RSF left us with nothing.
Safety is restored, thank God. With the control of the army and its allies inside Al-Jazira state, we are talking to you from inside Madani. We thank God this city is safe. People can go back to their homes. God is great.
But some residents are worried that the RSF might stage a swift counter-attack. Wad Madani is viewed as a strategic town because it is at the crossroads of crucial highways linking several states. It's also the nearest key city to the capital, Khartoum. The army called the gain a great victory and urged people to return to Wad Madani. It said it was working to clean up rebel-held parts of the city as well as recapturing more strategic areas.
We will not stop, but we will advance quickly and urgently. Soon, every inch in this country will be cleansed from the traitors. We urge people to return as Al-Jazira state is safe and the restoration of services will not be delayed. We are committed to supporting the governor in providing the basic necessities to facilitate the citizens' return.
Taking full control of Al-Jazira state would be the Sudanese army's biggest breakthrough since it took control of the major city of Omdurman in the state of Khartoum nearly a year ago. While the RSF leader Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo acknowledged defeat, he insisted the battle was not over. He promised to regain Wad Madani, promising victory to his troops. Sudan has been raged by fighting since April 2023, when fighting broke out between the army and the RSF. Caroline B, CGTN.
All right, then let's bring in NABA Midin. She's joining us now from Port Sudan with more data on these developments in the country's near two-year-long civil war. NABA, for context for our viewers, give us a sense of what the strategic importance of Wad Madani is and how critical it is as far as its recapture is concerned in the army's efforts to contain the RSF.
Actually, Wad Madani is really important city as it's the second biggest city after Khartoum, and it's nearest Khartoum. It's only 180 kilometers away from Khartoum. Recapturing Wad Madani means that the militia right now is trapped in a triangle from all of the axes. Right now, the militia the existence of the militia is in eastern Al-Jazira and eastern Khartoum. So that means the battles will, even if it escalates, it will be in a very small geographic location or area. The second strategic importance for Wad Madani is that it's the heart of Al-Jazira state, and Al-Jazira state is the heart of central Sudan and the heart of the country, where important and big agricultural hubs and big agricultural plants are located there. Since the RSF occupied Al-Jazira state and Wad Madani, most of the operations, agricultural operations and farming has totally stopped in Al-Jazira state because of the escalating violence against civilians, against farmers, and against everyone in Al-Jazira. So it has also an economic importance because it's in the heart of the country that links all of the eastern parts of Sudan to Central Sudan and to Western and White Nile. So recapturing Wad Madani, that means it will have strategic importance, military importance, and of course economic importance.
Finally, NABA, the FAO, the Food and Agriculture Organization, they reported there are at least 14.6 million people facing acute food insecurity in the country last year. And that report came out around November. The country is also hit by fairly severe flooding in the last quarter of the year. Can you give us a sense of what the food supply situation is like at the moment?
Actually, the food security situation in Sudan is really fragile and very weak. Despite that, the government kept saying that all of the reports by international community and international organizations regarding the famine are not accurate. But on the ground, we can see that there is a lot of indicators that the famine is there, especially in areas that are trapped in war zones, in Darfur, in parts of Khartoum, and even in communities hosting large numbers of displaced people. So there is famine in 5 regions at least due to international phase and its hunger system, monitoring system. So there is 5 regions that under famine right now, and 17 other regions are at risk of facing famine. So the situation is really bad. It's not only about accessing people who are in need and trapped in war zones, but also the economic output is really bad. The economy is not doing well. The agricultural season in many areas has failed, especially after Al-Jazira was taken by the RSF 1 year ago. At Dindira, Suki, and Sinja, the biggest agricultural hubs were under control of RSF. So yes, famine is there, and there is a risk of even bigger scale famine. Not only, I'm not talking about 14.3 people, but there is also some reports saying at least 25 million people will be in need for urgent food assistance and will face the risk of famine by the end of 2025.
Indeed. NABA Midin there reporting from Port Sudan on arguably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, humanitarian crisis on the planet.